Welcome to episode 17 of Echoes from the Arena. This episode is entitled All I Ask is to Be Truly Free. And we were discussing just now how to structure the show. And in a fit, I've decided that we're just going to start. So we're just going to go wherever the show takes us, I
See where
think.
it takes us. Yes.
Yes. So, um, all I ask to excuse me. All I ask is to be truly free. Dad, tell me about that and where that comes from.
Okay. Well, back in the I'm going to start right at the beginning. As we were preparing this episode, this episode is roughly, or not roughly, is about athletes, um,
Activism.
and activism and protest.
Hmm.
And I just want to do one disclaimer because I'm tired of people that are saying, well, they should just play the game, or they should just, stay
Do
in their
whatever.
lane, just be obedient and do whatever. But we all got to remember, they too are citizens of this country. They too have, hopes and aspirations and families and what have you. So, activism among athletes dates all the way back to 1867. So that's during the early phases of Reconstruction.
Yes,
And
just after the war.
yes, and the first recorded incident happened in, let me find it here. I lost my spot, but I'll find it quickly. It happened all the way back in Philadelphia, of all places, which is interesting because that's where
It's
our Constitution was created.
hmm
But in 1867, black baseball players protest segregation. There was a team called the Pythian Baseball Club of Philadelphia, and they were the first prominent all-black baseball team. They applied to join the National Association of Baseball Players, which was the precursor of the National League.
interesting.
The They applied and they were denied solely because of race. The team publicly condemned the decision, and this wasn't an on-field demonstration. It was a uh, one of the first organized athlete-led protests against racial exclusion in U.S. sport. So again, mark the year 1867.
Yep.
I want to mention one more incident.
Hmm.
Um, a number of years later, 1905, college football players threatened to strike. Amid a national outcry over football's brutality, there were 18 deaths in 1905.
Oh my
Um,
God.
it was You got to remember now there was yet to be a forward pass allowed. It was basically a crude version of rugby without any type of equipment, and it was kind of a free for all. The rules were lax, and even our president Teddy Roosevelt threatened to ban the game because of the amount of people being killed playing the game,
Wow.
which was tough for him because he loved the game. But he was even talking about it being banned. But players at some schools refused to play unless rules were reformed for safety. And this led to the formation of the NCAA. So
Huh.
this case now is one of the first cases of athletes using collective action for reform. So,
I wonder
you
if
know,
the NCAA was created because they needed a association for something like that to fall under the purview of
Yeah,
like
I think they did need an association. They needed some official body to change the rules
mhm.
and what have you. So I think that fell into the lap of the NCAA, which, as we all know, the NCAA served its purpose. And we've discussed this off air that
Mhm.
probably the NCAA's current mission seems to be a little haphazard.
I don't know
Um,
what they actually
I
do.
really don't know what they do anymore besides, you know, pick a school. Okay, this year we're going to take a dart and throw it into a group of schools, and the one that gets it sticks, and that they're going to be punished for
We're gonna
violations.
investigate them.
So it's just ridiculous. It's very unfair.
I don't know.
It's very subjective. There's favored schools that never seem to get slapped on the wrist. Ohio State. Uh-oh, as I said it.
Whoop, he said it.
And the Ohio State fans out there, I'll probably hear, but that's the way it is, you know? So anyway, those are two examples of protests going all the way back to starting back in the 19th century.
Hmm.
Um, so where should we go from there? You want me to just start down
Let's
the road there?
let's start down the road and then I'm gonna intersect at some
Okay.
point here.
Okay, good. Well, I think the first one I wanted to the first athlete I wanted to give a little time to is Jackie Robinson.
Hmm.
Jackie Robinson actually became a not maybe not a household name, but he became a name as early as 1944. I'm sorry, did I get my years right? Yeah,
Yeah.
1944.
Yeah, he was at UCLA, wasn't he?
Yes, yes. Well, no, by that time he was in the army,
Oh, okay.
and
People may have known he may have been known. I wonder. Wow, this is really going off on a tangent, but I was gonna say in track circles, I wonder if he was known back then, but maybe he was because he was a prolific athlete.
he was a track star. He was a baseball player. He was a football player. Um,
So
he
people would
yeah.
know who he was at that
Right.
school.
Well, in 1944, he was so Matt, Rosa Parks was not the first African American to have an issue with a bus. Jackie Robinson refused to sit in the rear of a military bus since he was in the army by this time.
Hmm.
And he was court-martialed. However, interesting, the court-martial board found him not guilty. And then fast forward now to 1947, he was playing ball in the International League with the Montreal Royals, and the general manager, Branch Rickey, felt it was time to bring a black player into the major leagues. Um, the thing about Branch Rickey was he was a very socially conscious person, and he felt these black athletes deserved to be in Major League Baseball. B, he saw a chance to make his team better. So they called up Jackie Robinson, and he had as you would guess, it was difficult. Jackie was a man of class, but he was, mercifully, taunted,
Yeah.
threatened
Hmm.
his own players, his own teammates. Created a petition to get him off the team. They did not want him, not everyone, but some of the players refused to play with a black athlete. So it was very tenuous. And the watershed moment of that incident was
Hmm.
in historians have a not they're not sure when this actually happened, the incident I'm going to discuss, but it did happen. That much we know. We're not sure if it happened in Cincinnati in 1947 or in Boston The Braves were still in Boston in 1948. But the captain of the Brooklyn Dodgers was a player by the name of Pee Wee Reese.
Mm.
He's a Hall of Fame shortstop. He
Mm.
was
Diminutive,
from
I believe.
Yeah, he was diminutive, and he was from Louisville, Kentucky, or as they say in Louisville.
Hmm.
And he during a break in action, he was being that day. Uh, Jackie Robinson was really a victim of a lot of taunting. The fans were outrageous. But that day, during a break in the action, Pee Wee Reese walked over to Jackie, who played second base, put his arm around his shoulders, and they were chatting. No one knows what was said, but that kind of was the moment that the Brooklyn Dodgers accepted him, not only as a great ball player, but a man. So, it's events like that that I think you know, are really important, and they really push change a little bit forward.
I mean, it's a shame that it gets to that point.
Oh yeah, yeah, it does. It does. So, if you got anything, man, just chime in there. But
Well, I'm thinking if we're in the late
yeah,
40s
we're in late 40s now.
now, we're starting to approach um, a guy like Ernie Davis.
Right, right.
I don't know who you have in between him and
Ernie,
Jackie.
actually, I had the next athlete I had
Hmm.
was Althea Gibson,
Mm.
and
Tennis star.
when we were in this year when we were at the U.S. Open,
Hmm.
the official poster every year they do an official poster. The official poster this year was of Althea Gibson.
I saw her
Althea,
statue as
right,
there as well. Hmm.
her statue's there, and she was a very good player. She was originally, well, she was born in South Carolina. Her parents were sharecroppers, but
Wow.
she lived her most of her young life in Harlem, New York, and could not obviously play on the in the white clubs or the white courts in New York, but was able to play, you know, um, on the black only courts, and but did get noticed by a group of coaches that African American coaches that I think it was called the American Tennis Association, if I remember correctly. That is the that was the African American version of the USTA.
Hmm.
Now, I don't know if the USTA was around back then, but she just could not get into these tournaments, these slam tournaments like the US. It wasn't called the US Open back then. It was called the US Nationals, Wimbledon, the French. You just could not get into those tournaments until
Mind you,
uh,
that's also overseas,
yes, that's also overseas.
so not just here.
And then a woman that we talked about on one of our first shows,
Yes, Alice Marble.
Alice Marble, yes, was a champion in the 30s and 40s. She won Wimbledon. She won the U.S. Nationals. Forest Hills was where they were playing in those days. But
Mhm.
she wrote a letter, a very passionate letter, or probably a series of letters, saying that that this has to stop. This young woman deserves a chance. Eventually, it helped, and she did get into these tournaments, and she became a champion both at the U.S. Nationals. I know she was French Open champion. Wimbledon, I'm not sure. I'm not sure about Wimbledon. If you want to pull it up your computer, Maddie,
Sure.
that's one bit of research I did not get to. But but yeah, she was a French Open champ and a U.S. national champion. Um, and once again, she was not a by nature shy. She was not a active activist, but she believed much like Jackie Robinson, she believed her prowess on the court would do her talking for her. So any
Yeah, she won Wimbledon twice.
oh, she did win Wimbledon. Okay, okay,
Same year she won
there
the
you go.
U.S. Nationals. So in 1956, she was the first, um, she was the first black player to win a Grand Slam
Okay, okay.
in
I
1956.
think I did remember that. Yeah.
And then she won Wimbledon and the U.S. Nationals in 57 and 58.
Okay, okay.
And she had doubles titles in French Open 56, Wimbledon 56, Australian 57, Wimbledon 57, and 58. And she also played in a mixed doubles. Well, she also played mixed doubles and won the U.S. Nationals in 57.
Great. There you go. So a prolific champion, and
Yeah.
but like you say, she has a statue at the Open or at the Open site, and it's interesting that she has a statue there, being a black player, and then um, the main stadium is named after a gentleman that we'll be talking about shortly.
Hmm. Yeah.
Nice to see that. But both were great champions and did a lot off the court as well. I know Althea was involved in getting the youth again the young black players involved in the game of tennis, and I think Billie Jean King talks of her often, being a game changer.
Hmm.
And even I know even the Williams sisters, and that's quite a few years removed from when she was playing. They still talk about her. So she obviously has, her message is pretty much immune of time. Something else, which was kind of unique. After she retired from tennis, she joined the LPGA and won some golf tournaments. I believe she was also the first black to win a pro golf tournament. So lots of firsts.
Oh yeah, you did mention that, didn't you?
Yeah, yeah. But I didn't know that previously. I found that out when I was doing the research here.
Huh. I wonder if I wonder if oh she hit a two-handed forehand?
That I don't know. Does it say
Probably not. No, I don't want to rely on anything. I don't want
that?
to rely on anything on the
Yeah,
internet.
that one I couldn't tell you. I'm not sure about that one.
I'd have to find just video or something.
Right. The next athlete I want to
Yep.
speak about is someone that I'm sure you've seen his statue. Was this statue there when you were there at Syracuse? Bernie Davis.
No, I think they were making it.
Okay. Okay.
It wasn't unveiled yet. I don't think so. If it was, it was my senior year, and I was probably too inebriated to know.
I mean, I've been there, you know, before you got there. I was there with Antane. And we were at the Dome a lot. And then when you were there, we were at the Dome a lot. I never saw the statue, and I think I know where it is on campus. So to answer, it wasn't there. Um, but
No, it
I
was the
gotta,
one of him holding his helmet.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I think they put that. I don't think that was there when I was there. I think that came after me.
So I got to ask you something, Matt, because I don't know if it's true. I don't know if this is just if this is just, urban legend or if it really happened.
Oh God, this could be anything.
Well, it has to do with the statue.
Okay.
When they when the statue was first erected,
Hmm.
was he wearing Nike cleats?
No.
So that's a legend. That's not true because I wouldn't think it would be true, but I read it that had to be changed because he had Nike cleats on. But I think that's probably a bunch of malarkey.
Hmm. I yeah, I don't think so. I want to and I could look this up, but I'm not going to. When it was erected,
Yeah.
but I don't know that that type of detail or
Well, I know Nike is Syracuse is that's their supplier, but I'm just
right.
wondering, was it a marketing ploy or was it which no.
You know what? Now that you mention it, I have heard this, I think.
Yeah, I read it somewhere. I don't know where I read it. It might have been shortly after the film came out, The Express, and there was all this scuttlebutt about Ernie Davis and everything, and
Yeah.
the honoring of him, and if it was true or not.
So Ernie Davis, for those that don't know, was a running back for Syracuse University. He is the first African American player to win the Heisman Trophy.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, he also endured a lot of the, how do I want to say it?
Well, the
Shitty treatment,
the shitty
uh,
treatment, prejudicial
um,
treatment
prejudicial
that
treatment
black
that a
athletes,
lot
yeah.
of of the athletes of that time, all I'm sorry, not a lot, all of the athletes of that time, that looked anything different than what I look like, I suppose,
Right, right,
um, were were being ridiculed for.
right.
Um, and I believe did you have a couple
Yes, I
instances?
do. Yeah, I do. The Okay, so Ernie Davis was from he was born in Pennsylvania, but he moved to Elmira, New York, raised by his mom. In the 1960 was one of the better years for Syracuse football. They were playing in the mythical national championship game that year in 1960. So after the 59 season in the Cotton Bowl in Dallas, Texas. So I'm sure when I mentioned Dallas, Texas, and it's 1960, we kind of know the climate,
We
meaning the
know what
political
the
climate. Jim Crow is alive and well.
racial climate was
Yeah.
like at the time.
And again, there were a few other African American athletes on that team. Syracuse had one previously, Jim Brown,
Hmm.
and they
Who, by the way, did not win the Heisman Trophy.
no, he did not win the
Sorry,
Heisman. Yes, that's
I'm
another
so
story.
disgusted. I nearly spit up on myself.
But he, like you said, he endured tons of injustices. I know when they went to the Cotton Bowl game, him and his one of his black teammates had to stay in the basement of the hotel. Uh, so it was just all these dehumanizing crap that was going on in those days. So,
Mhm.
but once again, he rose above it. He was not an outspoken activist. He was more of a I'll let my playing do the talking. So, and he did. And even that game alone, there were a lot of I actually looked at some old YouTube game tape of that film or film actually, not tape. And a lot of cheap shots on him and stuff like that. So, um, yeah, he had to endure and he did. And it's unfortunate that he oh, by the
Uh,
way, and another note, he was originally drafted by the Washington Redskins. Um,
I'm
at
going to
that
call
time,
it the Washington football team.
on the Washington football team. And at that time, Edward Bennett Williams owned the team, who was he was a racist. He was from the South, and that was his mindset. And he had very few, if any. Let's just say he was the last NFL owner to integrate his football team. So, but when Ernie was drafted, he refused to go to Washington, and Washington traded his rights to the Cleveland Browns. So now the Cleveland Browns had Ernie Davis and Jim Brown in the same backfield. Sadly, uh,
They really
Ernie
didn't get to play much.
had cancer and really didn't get to play much, and died very young. So,
Hmm.
but again, a great player, someone who did Syracuse proud,
Hmm.
has that Heisman. Which
Has the
if I
Heisman.
remember correctly, is this Heisman there at Syracuse?
I think it is.
I think
I
it is,
think
yeah.
so. Yeah.
Um, so and is he the only Syracuse Heisman winner? Or am I missing somebody along the way?
No, I think he's the only one.
Yeah, so I think it's there. Yeah, I think it's I think I saw it in that wing they had,
Yeah.
the football wing, but now they have a building there. I understand. Their own
Yes,
building.
it's they have their own
So I'm sure
separate.
it's there now. So
Yeah.
I want to go back a few years before we go forward
Okay.
because I think you and I were talking about it and it was something which I never heard of. And you said you never heard about it until, ESPN did a story on it. But in 1958, okay, the University of Buffalo
Mm.
um, was 8-1. In those days, they were not part of a conference. They were part of a loose conference of Eastern schools. And that year, they won the Lambert Trophy, which was the trophy that was given to the team that had the best record. So UB won the trophy that year. Were invited to the Tangerine Bowl, which is now the Citrus Bowl. So it was played in Orlando, Florida.
Oranges got pissed,
Yeah, I
and
know.
then they sued, and then they're like, "How about a compromise? We'll just call it the Citrus Bowl."
So I'm just looking for my notes, and I don't know where I deal with it, but that's all right. Um, but I can't find it. But that's right. I wanted to bring up the name of the two players. Uh, the UB Bulls had two African American players. The team, and I'm very proud of that team. Um, ref unanimously voted not to go because those two black players would not be allowed to play in the game.
Hmm.
So I thought that was big because it was their first bowl game that UB was ever invited to,
Hmm.
and they they had to wait another 50 plus years to get invited to another bowl game. So that was a big deal. And I think for young college men, my hat's off to them. But that was in 1958. So, and there's a documentary out there on it. I think it was a 30 for 30 on ESPN, I
Oh,
believe. So, uh,
mm.
I would recommend watching
I
it.
I might have
Uh,
to find it.
I think
I,
sports history, I think it's very important. And so that's 1958. 60 was Ernie Davis, and in the 1960 Rome Olympics. There was a fighter by the name of Cassius Clay who won
oh,
a gold medal
yeah.
as a heavyweight, and obviously after the Olympics turned pro, and in 1964 he won the World Heavyweight Championship, defeating Sonny Liston in
Mm.
Madison Square Gardens. And that was an interesting year, an important year, because in 1964, the Civil Rights Act was passed by
Hmm.
our Congress, thanks to LBJ and if anybody wants to do, but this is a little bit off topic, so I apologize, but I think it's
Hmm.
important to note. If anybody wants to do a case study on how to get a controversial bill through Congress, study this, the evolution of this bill, because
The Civil Rights Act of 1964.
yeah, yeah, because it was something that JFK intended to um, introduce to Congress. Unfortunately, we all know what happened to him in '63. So LBJ uh, took it upon himself to make sure that's in honor of the deceased president to get it through Congress. But he had to do a lot of wrangling, arm twisting, persuasion, trade-offs, and that's how you get a bill through Congress in those days. You got to remember, in those days, the Democratic Party was two factions. They were the Northern Democrats,
Hmm.
and they were the Southern
Dixiecrats.
Democrats, which were the Dixiecrats, which were extremely conservative.
Hmm.
They had that particular group of senators from those southern states certainly weren't on board initially with a bill that would integrate the South. So LBJ, who was a senator and kind of knew how to work the room, so to speak, got a hold of his friend and Richard Russell, who was a very powerful senator from Georgia, and they sat down and they hammered out an agreement that Richard Russell would go back to those group of Dixiecrat senators and persuade them to vote for the bill, which he did do. So again, I think it's people doing what was best for America. So that's all I want to say about that. So
Do you want me to talk about the Civil Rights Act of 1964?
yeah, yeah, go ahead.
So, the law had 11 titles, each addressing different areas. So, Title II of Public Accommodations outlawed segregation in hotels, motels, restaurants, theaters, and all other public accommodations engaged in interstate commerce. This struck at the
Mhm.
heart of Jim Crow segregation. Title III, desegregation of public facilities, prohibited state and municipal governments from denying access to public facilities on the basis of race, color, religion, or national origin. Excuse me. Title IV was public education. I'm not going to go through all the other titles, but
Right, right.
uh,
Yeah.
uh, but authorized the federal government to enforce school desegregation, following up on Brown versus Board of Education from 1954. Um, Title VI, federally assisted programs, bar discrimination in programs and activities receiving federal funds. For instance, hospitals, universities, public works. Title VII, employment prohibited employers, labor unions, and employment agencies from discriminating on the basis of race, color, religion, sex, or national origin. It created the excuse me, the Equal Employment Opportunity Commission, the or EEOC as the acronym, to investigate complaints. Title I and others addressed voting rights, although the voting rights of 1965 would go much further in pushing forward voting rights. Strengthened civil rights litigation powers of the Justice Department and established federal authority to enforce the law. So obviously the significance of that is you're striking at the heart of Jim Crow, right?
Right, exactly, exactly. Yeah, yeah,
And gave the federal government the power to intervene where discrimination just continued to persist.
yeah. So a far-reaching bill, and the I wanted to talk a little bit now about Cassius Clay, who, as I say,
Well,
became. Yeah, go ahead, Matt.
before we do that, let me just, I'm not going to go through the Bill of 68, but the Bill of 68 did
Okay, yeah, go ahead.
focus on private life, particularly the housing market, real estate practices, neighborhood segregation. So together they closed, one of the biggest loopholes that we had for systemic racism in this country.
Right.
So I didn't want us to skip too far ahead and miss the 68 because the year 1968 also has some significance in our story. But back to Cassius Clay.
Okay. Okay. So as I said, he wins the heavyweight championship of the
Hmm.
world in '64. Uh, Also going on that decade was our involvement in the war in Vietnam.
Hmm.
So I'm gonna just I'm kind of streamlining this. I don't want to get too involved in this, but Cassius Clay at the time was drafted, and he had to re report. He refused to he refused to report
Hmm.
two counts for two reasons. So the one reason was he converted to Islam,
Yes, so
and
he was then no longer known as Cassius Clay and then
right.
for further known as Muhammad Ali.
I think he was a I think he was I don't think he was I don't know how closely he followed this gentleman I'm going to mention, but I think he respected him, and I'm talking about Malcolm X, who
Mm.
was quite controversial. But it was a time where there were there was there were kind of two parallel factions. Okay,
Hmm.
so there was Dr. Martin Luther
Martin Luther
King,
King on one
who,
side.
well, and we all know that he was, peaceful demonstration.
Hmm.
Then there was that faction with Malcolm X and the Black Panthers that were developing, and the Muhammad Ali, where it was more get in your face type of mentality. Not surprising with Muhammad Ali because he's a boxer, so that's his persona.
Hmm.
But anyway,
It
so it
quite
was basic.
literally is his shtick.
Yeah, it's a stick. So he applied for conscientious objector status, being a
Hmm.
Muslim.
Hmm.
He also just didn't feel the war in Vietnam was legitimate, and he said, "I have no." I kind
They
of,
ain't got no quarrel. I
yeah.
ain't got no
What was
quarrel
it?
with them. They ain't got no quarrel with me.
Yeah, I have no
That's
quarrel
what he
with
said.
Viet Cong. Those Viet Cong. So he obviously was arrested. The case went all the way to the Supreme Court. The court ruled against him. He was never in prison, but he was stripped of his title and really couldn't fight for like 3 years.
Of
Uh,
what was his prime, by the way.
but yeah, exactly. Eventually, the conditions in the country were changing. '68, for example, a
Hmm.
lot of student unrest. War in Vietnam was becoming a sticking point. Lots of demonstrations. The Supreme Court uh, flipped as far as the decision and
Hmm.
voted 8-0 that what he did was not wrong. So he started fighting once again, and but he's always been that. But no, he's like that lightning rod personality, but has done a lot for his communities, his race. He was originally from uh, Louisville, Kentucky.
Yeah, I was gonna say he's
And
also from Louisville.
yeah, he's from Louisville. Yeah, and I think he settled in Atlanta as he got older, and then obviously he unfortunately developed Parkinson's, which he did a lot for Parkinson's research and what have you. And
Hmm.
I think the last time we really saw him was when he lit the Olympic flame at the '96 Olympics in Atlanta.
I
But
remember that.
yeah, so he he did his thing for civil rights. A little different than Dr. King, but
I mean,
same thing,
yep.
same mission. Anything else, Matt? Or you want me to move on? You got anything to? add in there? And
No, you're knocking it out of the park here,
I'm
which
knocking out
is
of the
good
park. All right.
because I'll be
Um,
honest, I am
oh, I know. Okay. So it's six. Okay. So it's 1968. Okay. So 68, unfortunately, a bad year for America. Okay. Um,
oh
as I
yeah,
say, a lot going on. Okay. In May, RFK
was assassinated.
was assassinated in LA.
Mm.
Most likely would have been the Democratic candidate for president.
Hmm.
In that year also, just before RFK, I think, if I get my months right, uh, Dr. King was assassinated in Memphis.
Hmm.
So now we're going into 68 was an Olympic year. The Olympics that year
We're in Mexico
were
City.
exactly. So 200 meter, the men's,
There's a piece of information I know
yes.
that I'll never use other than right now, and maybe a Jeopardy in like 20 years.
So the 200 meter, the Americans took the gold and the bronze. The silver was won by an Australian. So Tommy Smith took gold. John Carlos took bronze.
Mhm.
The um, the award ceremony was televised nationally on ABC uh, with Jim McKay, as we remember Jim McKay. And as the national anthem began, Tommy Smith and John Carlos had black gloves on and they had their arms in the air, the Black Power salute. So obviously that did not go over well with the American Olympic Committee and its president, Avery Brundage, who immediately, uh, I don't know if they were officially kicked off the team, but they were finished with the Olympics because they still had relay events to run, which it did not run. So
Mhm.
another visible protest, athletes speaking their mind, symbolic free speech. So they were very much, I feel they were very much in the right as far as,
Well, I
what they did.
also, you know, they have to do that stuff, but like the idiot who kicks him off the team, he never has to answer for that
No, he never does.
because of the climate at the time.
He
It's
had a, he had an issue. I'm going to be honest with you. Avery Brundage had an issue
yeah, I could
with
tell by his name that
racial
he had a
issues.
fucking issue.
Well, believe it or not, he was a track guy back in the day, and he was consistently beaten in meets by Jesse Owens.
Well,
He just
congratulations,
he
him and
just
every
wasn't
fucking
good
everyone
enough.
else.
I know. So I think he just had his nose
If
out of
that's
joint.
if anything, that's the best practice you could possibly ever get is you're literally racing against the person who's going to be the fastest person in the world in
Exactly. Exactly.
1936. And change your name.
By the way, Maddie, if you're ever doing a Jeopardy question and the question is regarding the who won the silver medal
Mhm.
in the 200 meters,
It is
it is Peter Norman
Peter
from
Norman.
Australia. So there you go.
That question is too hard for even fucking Jeopardy. There's no way people would
No,
know
no,
that.
no, no one would know that. No
No
one
one
would
would
know that
know
at all.
that.
All right, so the next, we're moving now. I'm just checking dates on when he was born. So Arthur Ashe, another tennis player. A lot of tennis players have made a big difference and have really furthered social change, which is interesting. Why is that, Matt? Why is that?
I don't
Okay.
know. One would think, well, here's the thing is, well, see, I don't even know if that's really all that accurate. I, that's a great question because you'd think because of the type of sport it is that it would be much more white collar,
Well, yeah. Well, initially it was very white collar and very wealthy,
but it found its
but
way into the blue collar,
yeah. But you had, again,
into a
another.
different socioeconomic class, which I don't know. Maybe it tells me that not that there's necessarily enough courts, but there's enough courts to make enough tennis players to it's a numbers game.
It's just interesting because you had, you
Yeah,
had,
no, it is.
you had, again, another player we spoke about, Suzanne Langland,
Hmm.
early in our history, our podcast history.
Episode
She
two or
was,
three.
she was, she was, she was kind of out there on the
Hmm.
fringes,
Yep.
and Alice Marble as a benefactor for Althea Gibson,
Hmm.
Billie Jean King, who's helped an immense amount of people and change and equal pay at the slams and the driving force behind the PWHL and what have you. Virginia Slim's tour.
Hmm.
You had so you have a lot of Althea Gibson, a game changer. So you had a lot of tennis players who made a huge difference. So in 1943, Arthur Ashe was born in Richmond, Virginia. Again, during Jim Crow. So he too was forced to play on uh, the city courts that were only allowed, who only this particular courts only allowed, black players. Could only play in all black tournaments as a boy,
Hmm.
but became successful. And in 1968, he won the U.S. Open. So he was the first black man to win the Open, or actually to win a Grand Slam singles
Period.
title. Yes.
Wow. Mm.
So the thing with Arthur Ashe, and I'm looking through what he did, what he accomplished. He was also very active and I remember this in South Africa. They still had apartheid
Hmm.
uh, in this time in history, and he was very active in starting the movement to abolish apartheid. But as far as his abilities in the States here, he was one of those very well spoken, very intelligent, but not a Muhammad Ali type of guy who's going to get in your face. He was very much measured when he spoke, and um, but was a very positive, I think, positive role model, and not just for young black athletes or young black people, but for whites too. He was a gentleman.
Athletes,
Yeah, yeah,
athletes in
and he was a
general.
gentleman, and obviously uh, he had some heart issues, and when he had to have blood transfusions, and one of the transfusions he developed AIDS.
Mm.
So even as he was sick and kind of dying, he was still very active and speaking out about AIDS research and what have you. So really great man, and there's a reason his name's on the stadium at um,
That we go to every year.
and we go to every year in Flushing Meadows. But he done a lot. He's done a lot for. He did a lot for young players, and um, um, quite an influential man.
I had a thought while you were talking, and I was afraid I was going to lose it, but I'm not sure I did. Um, you had a question on why so many tennis players,
Yes,
and I'm
yes,
wondering if I wonder if it has something to do with whatever's going on in the locker room,
could be. Yeah, it could
which
be.
is it's a sport unlike baseball, hockey, basketball, football, lacrosse, unlike all those other sports where you're on your own.
Yeah, Right.
It's just
Yeah.
you.
Well, it's just you. Yeah. Yeah.
And I wonder if, relationships develop amongst competitors. It's like
Right.
we know that they do.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
We
Yeah.
know that there's,
Yeah. Because
Rafa
usually,
and
like,
and
baseball, football, hockey, whatever, like you said, the team sports, you're kind of insulated with your team.
right.
Whereas, like you say, in the locker room, you're in a tennis locker room,
You are the team
you're are the team, and you're rubbing elbows with players from all over the world.
who you're
You're
going to play against.
that you're going to play against. But you're an American player. You're getting to know Eastern European players. You're getting
Hmm.
to know French players. You're getting to know Asian players. You're getting to know Aussies. So that could be, man.
I
That
think
could
it's,
be.
see, you even took it international, and I wasn't even going that far. I was just thinking
Right,
about, just talking about the human condition,
right.
um, with somebody and, you know, gaining a respect for the person on a personal level as opposed to just an athletic level. But I think to your point, learning perspectives and ideas from outside of one's little echo chamber is not necessarily a bad thing. So if you're speaking to and getting to know people from a bunch of different countries and a bunch of different backgrounds, that could have something to do with it too. And I know what somebody might be thinking, which is, yeah, but golf is also a sport like that. Golf might
Yeah,
still be a little too country club,
yeah, yeah. I agree. I agree.
a little too white collar stuff.
I mean, and you can see the players that draw, like the players that draw the masses are guys that were kind of from a blue collar background. Case in point, Arnold Palmer, Arnie's Army. There's a reason that, the average guy, average person became a fan of Arnold Palmer because
Get behind him.
he was like the average guy,
He was
you
you.
know. Um, well, Lee Trevino had a huge following when he was playing, and he was a young American Mexican kid who played on a pretty beat up old public course. That's where he honed his game. So, and he had a huge following. So yeah,
Mexican
maybe
American.
yeah, Mexican American, yes. Um, but what was I going to say? But even I'm not downplaying like other sports and like every athlete in this day and age that they have a foundation and they do a lot for charity. I totally admit that. But it just seems like a lot of tennis players do a lot of major change. I look at I donated to Roger Federer has a foundation, and he does a lot of stuff with it. But
If
one
it's
of
not called
his
the Fedation, he missed
Yes,
an
the foundation.
opportunity.
There you go. I know, but he's building schools in Africa. I mean,
Hmm.
he's building schools that educate hundreds of Africans who wouldn't have that without what he's doing. So it's just, and that's just one example, but it's just it's phenomenal what they do. So just interesting study.
I just think that it's such a shame that there has to be so much philanthropy.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
I don't know what the answer is, but I know what the answer isn't.
Yeah.
Um, and I would hope that we would work towards an answer to that question because unfortunately, for every Roger Federer, there could be somebody who's got a foundation that's doing things for the wrong reasons,
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah.
you know? But um, was Arthur the
Arthur was the of the for this episode. Arthur was is
mm,
the grand finale.
mm,
But what I just want to say, there's athletes to this day that are doing great things and are have
Fund the
things to say
foundations.
and foundations and pushing social change and
I
what
think that's
have
what we're
you.
really trying to get at too.
Yeah, yeah.
And
So that
I let Dad take this episode because I'm tired of talking today. But in addition to that, this is kind of his jam insofar as he is a retired history teacher. So you've gone through that lecture,
so
I don't know how many times,
oh yeah,
not just in your head, but
right,
actual.
right, exactly. So I was thinking for our next episode, we do want to do another. I know you're going to be out of town for a bit, so it's going to be a little while before you hear us again. But anybody out there that wants to give us a
I
shout
think
out,
I think bi-weekly is more than generous.
oh yeah, oh yeah, um,
Pass it on to your friends, get more people to listen, and then
yeah, get more people to
I'll feel
listen.
different about that.
And we are going to continue. We've done one Division 3 school.
Yeah, we did
And I
Adrian
highlighted
College.
Adrian College, right? So I'm going down the alphabet. So these are my selections currently. If there's anybody out there that wants to propose their school or a school that starts with the letter B, right now, I'm thinking, and Matt, if you want to throw in some too, you may or you may. I'm thinking either Bates College, Bowdoin
Hmm.
University, or Brockport State. Those are my three B's that I've chosen. We don't know which one it's going to be until our next episode. But if someone wants to come up with some other school,
That's a B. We'll
as long as
gladly
it's a
do that.
D3 program, or at
Got to be
least
D3.
got to be D3. Now I know Brockport, believe it or not, has a Division 1 gymnastics program,
Yeah, that stuff
but all their
happens.
other programs are D3.
It's
So your
interesting.
school can have one D1 program.
But it does not make it a D1 school.
It does not make it a D1 school. Another example, for example, in Rochester, RIT. RIT has a
Has
D1
men's
hockey
hockey.
program, yes, but everything else is D3. So there you go.
Is it women's hockey too?
Women's hockey is, I think, D3
Mm.
because your sister used to play against them
Oh,
when she was at Castleton.
yeah.
So, and Plattsburgh. So anybody out there, if you've got a B school and
Uh,
you want your school highlighted, it's something we've been calling MVP, Most Valuable Program. And we're going to talk about your school.
yeah. We'll give it a good 5 to 7 minutes.
I know
Uh,
there's other B's out there, but I can't think of
I
any
can't think of any
right
off the top
now.
of my head either. I was going to say Brockport actually. So
Well, yeah, there's Brockport. There was a Brooklyn. There was a Brooklyn something, but I don't know if it's still in existence or it's changed their names. Um, but yeah, so that's what we're doing. Oh, there is another one, Matt. There is another B that's pretty well known. It's in Cleveland area. Baldwin Wallace.
it sounds like a NASCAR driver.
I know. I know. So there you go.
Um, Before
So
we
anything
go,
else, Matt?
well, I was going to say I could do a short debrief on the heroics of Sunday, at least from an Arsenal perspective. We also
Yes.
had there was also a Bills game that you and I have already talked about, but don't have much to say about really.
Yeah, it was a Bills. That was Bills game was kind of vanilla. We got the win, which is good. It was a if you look at it on the scoreboard, it was kind of a one-sided affair, but it was no way one-sided.
No, it was much
I mean,
closer than the
the Saints were
score.
in that game for 3 quarters.
Yeah.
I had a chance to take the lead,
Hmm.
but and then there was a lot of news this weekend. There was the Ryder Cup,
Oh, yeah, can we talk about that for a minute?
which is for yeah, we could talk about it. Yeah, it was kind of a
I
crazy, surreal place.
I want to talk about it for a second. I if and I'm talking about this rather than talking about the different acrobatic moves that I did during the Newcastle game, um, especially at the end, because there's a funny anecdote about how I saw the final goal. But I'm kind of glad they got their ass kicked. They needed to be humbled.
Yeah. You know
They
something else?
really do.
I
They
I thought
really did.
I found out this morning when I was watching Golf Channel. Um, I didn't know this. The Americans were paid to play. Now, the majority of that money that they were paid, they donated to charity, which is okay, that's fine. Europeans are not paid.
You should
That's
be
something
paid to
that,
be playing in the Ryder
no,
Cup. You're
you're playing
playing
for
for
your
your
country. Yeah,
country.
exactly. And let's face it, every one of those players, they don't need the money
They don't.
because they're the top players in the world.
I mean, they can pay for their accommodations and everything,
But
but
so that kind of
cutting
was a
them a check,
surprise. Yeah,
I
that
don't
was
like
kind of a
that.
surprise because now, well, that would come out. I'm assuming that would come out of the PGA fund. So, but still, I just found that was
Yeah, but some of it's
kind of
going to
tacky.
non-PGA golfers.
I think that's true. Yeah, I think you're right. I think they were, I don't know if they were. I think what it showed is because on the Sunday they played well in the head-to-head matches the U.S. did, but they're not that they have trouble of late in the last. I mean, of late the last decade of playing a team concept, a team format. They really have issues with that.
It requires, I f now, I'm just a guy sitting in a fucking computer chair while I'm watching the Ryder Cup who swings a golf club once a month, maybe,
Yeah.
if he's lucky right now. Uh, but it seemed to me, and I was telling Jen this too, it really, that format breeds shot making.
Oh yeah, it does.
If
It does.
your partner took the first shot and has a 12-foot putt, feel free to go right at the pin.
Yeah. Wow. Oh, you can do that. Yeah.
And you can do that because if you trust your partner, they're at worst going to two putt there.
No,
And
it
if you go at the
breeds.
pin, you might stick it and have a birdie putt,
Yeah. No, it it breeds aggressiveness.
which I don't think feel like they played with
I
nearly
don't think
enough
they did.
of.
They were very cautious. And I know who was I listening to on at Paul, is his name McGinley? He's the Irishman. He was doing the
Was he doing the play or some of the color
yeah, he
commentary?
was doing some of the commentating and he's a former player. I think he's from Ireland. But he might have been Northern Ireland too, I don't know. But he was saying he understands, that on that Saturday especially when they were really getting smoked, that it's tough to go down the course if you're an American and look at the scoreboard and see how bad you're playing and what you really need to do to, you know, r- r- reel in the Europeans. And
Yeah.
so the added pressure that causes is just unbearable.
Well, they put themselves in that position.
So, well, yeah, yeah.
Mm.
And
And
so
Keegan
in
Bradley's got nobody to blame but himself, in my opinion, on
yep,
that shit.
yep.
Talked a whole lot of shit and didn't back any of it
Well,
up.
they were talking about too the order in which the various games were played. Like what they open up with was it a four ball or whatever they opened up with. They felt that they probably shouldn't have opened up with that because the Americans were better with another.
Is it their
Can't,
decision?
I don't know who makes the decision. I don't know if it's the home team. I don't know the host team. I don't know. I don't know. Have to get into that more. But
Mm.
And then I think in 2 years, I don't know if it's in England next or somewhere else in Europe, but it alternates. So it'll be
Well,
on
yeah, it
European
needs to get the hell
soil.
out of here because apparently a lot of people acting like asses.
Oh, Robin, thank you. Berry College. That's in Georgia.
Very.
And she got busted. Oh, Bus State.
Oh,
Yes.
yeah. We do
Buff
enough,
State. How did we
we
miss
do.
Buff State?
I know that's true. We do enough Buffalo stuff. I'm,
Buffalo State Bengals.
I can't see the forest through the trees.
A lot of the boys I coached in Georgia went to Berry College. It's a nice D3 program.
Anything else? Yeah. So the Bills game was, right.
So what's your pick for this week, Matt? With the Pats coming in.
Um, well, the Pats are pretty hot right now, right?
Well, they scored, they had a big day, but it's against Carolina, so I don't know
Yeah,
how
I don't know
how that
how,
equates.
but I don't know what the hell happened with Carolina because they just beat Atlanta 20 to nothing.
Yeah, I know. That's the NFL, you know how that is.
I wonder if that's Carolina winning a big game, thinking that they finally turned the corner and then getting reality slapped in the face. If they're not as bad as they showed and the Patriots aren't as good as they looked. I don't know. Sometimes we sleep on these clowns.
I think the Bill. I know they're
Excuse
always
me. I'm sorry if you're a Patriots fan.
they're always
I
told
shouldn't be
they're always
saying
told to
that.
stay humble and all this, but I think we also underestimated the Saints. And I think that's why it was so close for so long because you got to remember too, the Saint, although they lost this week, the Niners, but the Saints took the Niners pretty much to the wire in the first week.
Yeah, that's true.
And then they look terrible since, but um, the NFL, man. Any
You
given Sunday,
you gotta show up. If you don't
show
show
up.
up,
Yes.
you could get embarrassed.
So,
Uh, I don't know. I'd rather guess the line.
what do you think the line would be?
I bet you the line is okay. I got my phone on me. This is gonna be fun. Um, I have not looked at the line yet, but I'm gonna look it up as soon as I guess it. I'm guessing the line right now is Bills minus 7.5.
Okay. Yeah, that's a good line. That's a fair line, I think.
But now I'm gonna look it up and see what it actually is.
I would say that's probably around there.
Uh, Today's Tuesday, so
I don't think it'd be double
the
digit. I don't
line
think it'd
should
be
be out by now.
double digit. By the way, baseball fans, I got the Yankee game on. Max Fried started and got him through 7 innings, and right now they're shutting out the Red Sox 1-0.
Okay, so it's Bills minus 8.5.
Okay, okay.
So they have another point on it. I think that's a little high. I would say Bills by a touchdown. That's why I said 7.5. But what I was gonna say is I think it's 7.5, but I think it should be 6.5.
Well, I think because it's a division game, they're always close. They could be close. I mean, the Jets obviously was a blowout,
And they don't have the incompetent coaching.
but
Pat.
look at Miami. It was a close game. Miami is a close game. Yeah, they don't have incompetent coaching. I think Vrabel is getting a lot out of his players.
That's not to say that I feel like OJ Mayo got a fair shake or who's the guy who was the coach last year?
Yeah, it was
Was that
Mayo.
him?
Yeah,
Was it
he only got
Mayo?
1 year, so I don't know
Yeah, he didn't get a fair shake.
I don't know what
If
that
you're
was
gonna
all
do
about.
that, don't hire somebody. But yeah, that was bullshit.
And then, so what you think about, as long as we're talking football, what'd you think about Jackson Dart's start?
Didn't see any of it. I
We
saw
didn't
they
see of it.
won.
They won and he looked really good. I mean, he didn't do anything spectacular. I definitely think the playbook is cut back, but he made some
Oh,
plays with his legs. He much more mobile, obviously, than Russell Wilson.
yeah.
And they looked good. They looked like it looked like they had some jump in their steps. So I
Well,
think
they're
this
about
was
to see how good
the
he
move.
really is without his top receiver because he's done for the year.
Yes, that's another receiver out.
Yeah,
The other team that needs to do something because they got a heck of a lot of talent and they look terrible although they're 2-2. But Cincinnati needs to do something because Burrow's out till December, and I'm thinking, Jameis Winston's out there
that's true.
sitting in the bench in New York. Not that Jameis is,
He
Jameis can
will.
throw, but he
He
also can
will.
throw picks.
He'll
So
throw picks, but he'll throw touchdowns
yeah,
too.
so might be something to think about since they're going to be without Burrow at least till December. Because by that time, it might be too
There's
late.
might be too late. Yeah, you got to do
So,
something. You got anything else?
I'm good, Matt. I'm a good.
All right. That put us at a little over an hour and almost an hour and 15. Um, and Bill, we are gonna get to the mid 90s stuff very shortly. Uh,
Yes. Yes.
I have to go. I'm creating I'm creating a PowerPoint presentation. Um, so that'll be fun. But we will be on a short break here as I will be out of town, perhaps for some time.
Yeah, we'll do it when you get back. I got some ideas. I'll run them by you. And we've got tons of ideas and more happening every day
Hmm.
as I watch sport. And
Well, you have the opportunity
oh,
to use your
just
brain for that sort of brain power.
FYI, and uh, for my birthday, did I tell you? Did I tell you we changed our plans for Europe? Did I tell you that?
Yeah.
That we're going to London? Okay.
Hmm.
So Robin, for my birthday, got me. She got us tickets to go to a Premier League rugby game.
Oh, really?
So we're seeing two London teams and one of the the Harlequins. I forget the other one.
Interesting.
But the Harlequins are. I looked at the table and they're quite a ways up the table, so they're pretty good.
Huh.
And it's in London. I believe their stadiums, except their stadium, it's in East London. So looking forward to that. So we're seeing big time rugby.
Yeah, that should be interesting.
I've never seen professional rugby in person. I've seen college rugby, but not professional. So
Yeah, no, this will be quite a step up from college rugby, I would
yeah, oh
imagine.
yeah, oh yeah, yeah, yeah. So
Because,
now she tried, believe it or not, she tried to get tickets at the same time we're there. And even though the Premier League is in its season just began,
hmm.
they're also having the World Cup of rugby there.
Oh, no shit.
And she tried to get tickets, but they were sold out. England versus the All Blacks.
Yeah. No, it's not England.
What's
It's
not England?
the United Kingdom
Oh, okay. So it's players
versus,
from Wales and okay.
yeah,
So it's
it's because they're,
UK versus the All Blacks. Okay.
yep, yeah, because it's, well, that would be something to behold.
Yeah, yeah.
Do you imagine that?
Oh, that'd be
The
amazing.
seeing a haka in real time?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
That'd be cool.
We got to do. One of the ideas I came up with was for our show is we got to talk about the All Blacks. maybe not a whole show about them, but
Oh, we could definitely do a whole
I
show
think
on
enough
them.
people know about them, even though they don't watch rugby. That's one of those teams you don't need to watch rugby to
You know,
appreciate the All Blacks.
yeah,
Like if I was a coach, well, I was a coach, but I mean, if I was coaching now, a team sport, I would certainly use some of their techniques in as far as preparation.
hmm
Because I don't know if you've seen, have you seen that documentary?
yeah, the Amazon one or
Yeah,
whatever.
yeah,
Yeah, that
that's
was
good.
good.
But I love the, yeah, I love their, whatever you, what'd you call it?
It's called the Haka.
Now, is that a Polynesian or a Maori?
Yeah, I think so. One of the two. It could be Maori.
I think it's Maori actually, because
Yeah.
it's New Zealand. Yeah.
Yes, it's like a I it, I could be wrong, but I believe it's like a war thing,
Yeah, it
like a
is. I
war
think it is.
chant
I think it is. Yeah.
meant to intimidate and does quite a good job of it. From my understanding.
Yeah, it's well, I've seen it. Yeah, it's really it's neat to see. Yeah.
But for my, I also I think so they were playing the World Cup, I think, in that documentary.
Were they? Okay.
Yeah, because I think they're playing against, they kept calling them like the Six Lions or something, but I think that's the team that they play against
Okay.
or something like
Well, the
that.
team from from Great Britain?
From the United Kingdom, yeah.
Yeah, okay. Because usually the teams, the powers are like France and Ireland, Italy, I mean New Zealand, obviously. Well, I'm assuming the All Blacks represent New Zealand.
I think it's just those two teams
Yeah. Oh, is it?
playing.
Okay.
I think
Yeah.
that's what it is,
Oh, okay.
unless it's one where they have multiple, and maybe then in that case there is an English team, and then there's a Welsh team, and then there's an Irish team or a Northern Irish team.
Well, I don't know if there would be enough players for a World Cup squad from just England. So it probably is the British Isles. So,
Yeah.
or Great Britain. It would
It
be
could
Great
be
Britain
at very
because
least Great Britain.
the only team that would have their own, it would be the Republic of Ireland.
Yeah.
But as far as Northern Ireland and Wales and Scotland and now
Yeah.
Scotland has a national team. I know that. I've seen them play. But for this particular tournament, maybe it is a Great Britain team.
All right, I think we've rambled on enough.
Okay, Matt.
Right?
Yep. Well,
And
check in on the. I don't know. I missed in the short time we were speaking. I missed the Red Sox scored 2 runs, so they're
so
leading now, 2-1.
uh, they're
Two
up
one
one.
in the at least the seventh. So whoever came in to relieve Free just kind of shit the bed here.
Shit's all right. So for Greg, this is Matt, and we're signing off for this evening. We'll see you next time.